back to my channel. My name is Laura, and today I'm doing pre-recording Top 5 Wednesday, and this week's topic is 5 books that were your least favorite in a series. Now, if you've been watching my channel, I haven't been liking series lately. Every time I read a series, I tend to like the very first book, and then after that, all the series that I've read so far have gone down. So I'm going to share as best I can and see what I can do. So the very first series is one that I completed. I read book 1 in 2014. I read book 2 in 2014, and I immediately read book 3 in 2014. And I loved book 1 and I loved book 2. They were both 5 stars for me, but when I read book 3, it just totally went different from what I thought it would be, and I just didn't like it, so I did drop it down to a 4 star. So the book that I'm talking about, and I actually looked on my shelf and I have book 3. I don't know where I put book 1. I did buy book 1 because I wanted to reread it to see if that's where I thought the story was going, but it just totally went a different way than I thought it was going to be. So the series that I'm talking about is Mara Dyer, and this is book 3, Retribution of Mara Dyer. Book 1 is called The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer. Book 2 is called The Evolution of Mara Dyer, and those two were 5 star for me. When I got to read this one, I pre-ordered it, and I just felt, when I was reading this book, I was very confused. It totally changed, and I still, to this day, I am still confused about this book. And I got so mad that I actually threw my book across the room. But yeah, so I did buy book 1, and it's somewhere in my house. I wanted to reread this series because I didn't see what was happening in this book. So yeah. So maybe I would like it better. And as I said, if you've been watching me, I don't reread books, but this is something I do want to reread to see if maybe the second time I read it, I will get something else out of it. So yeah. So this is my first one. Okay, the second book, the second series, would be the Knife of Never Letting Go series by Patrick Ness, and the book that I did not like was Monsters of Men. That was the 3rd book. I will put a little blurb of what the book looks like up here. I do have it in my journal, and it looks like this in my journal. Now, I really loved book 1, The Knife of Never Letting Go. I listened to it on audio, and it was really amazing. Book 2 was okay. It went down. And book 3 was not that great. I mean, it should have just been a standalone. Yeah, so I really liked book 1. So if book 3, not so good whatsoever. So yeah. So I'll put the link of the picture up here. Okay, this is the 3rd book, and the 3rd book is another series. I only read the first 3 books. I still need to read the 4th and the 5th book. Let's see. I'm going to show you the series. And this one I also listened to on audio, and I marathoned it 1, 2, 3 right in a row. And the first book is Cinder. I gave it 3 stars. I think that the narration of Cinder, the person who was doing Cinder's voice, was driving me nuts. So I gave this one 3 stars. Then the second book, here's the second book. And the second book it went up for me. It went to a 4 star. I enjoyed it more than the first book. And then when I got to the 3rd book, which is Cress, it went back down to a 3 for me. So yeah, so I got a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 3. So that's how it's been going for me. for this series. I'm like, I don't know what I really didn't like of the last one. I didn't really get the last one, Cress. I didn't really like it. Yeah, so those are the 3. So, yeah, 3, 4, and 3 went up and down. So, okay. Okay, number 4 would have to be a series that I listened to on audio. I marathoned 1, 2, and 3. And I also read the 2 novellas, and I still have to read more, but that's as far as I got. It was, I never watched The Bachelor, and I don't watch TV that much, and so this series was really good for me. I started off listening to it, and the selection I gave 5 stars to. And then then I listened to the Elite, and it went down 1 star, so a 4 star. It was still amazing, but it went down a little bit. And then I listened to the 1, and I gave it 5 stars, so it went back up. So it went 5, 4, 5. And then I listened to the Queen, and I will put the little picture of the Queen up here. And that one, the audio, the person who was speaking the audio, it changed, and it was I couldn't understand the narration, and she had an accent, and I just did not like this one at all, and I don't think it needed to be written. I gave it 2 stars. So, and then I listened to The Prince, and The Prince I gave 4 stars. So, yeah, so that's how the series is going for me. I still need to read the next one, the one that's coming out, or I still need to read the rest of the series. So, yeah. So, that's my story on the selection series. Sorry for Daisy barking. She's locked in the room right now, and she's looking at me now. Sorry. Coming in at number 5 would have to be the Taken series by Kimberly Durting. The book that I loved was The Taking, and I'll put it up here. And the book that I did not like was this book 2, and book 2 was called The Replaced, and I will put it up here. And I just didn't like, I loved book 1. Book 1 was amazing. Of course, it starts off with this girl who is walking around, and she finds herself behind a dumpster, and she wakes up behind the dumpster, and she has 5 years of her memory is gone. So yeah, she gets abducted, but it has like a memory loss thing, and you know how I love memory loss, and I thought this book, The Taken, book 1, I gave 5 stars, but when I got to The Replaced, I think I only gave it 3 stars, so it went down for me. It wasn't what I expected, and it didn't keep my attention as much as book 1. Yeah, so that would be my 5th choice. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in another video. Bye!